It's Friday, the 7th of February, and this is now on HNN.
All I heard was all this wind, and I just knew to get in the bathtub. That's all I knew.
Severe weather rips through part of the country. I'm Deborah Alfarone in Leesburg, Virginia, where the National Weather Service is investigating whether this damage is all the work of tornadoes.
Here at home, there's a winter storm warning posted for the Big Island and Valley Isle summits. Plus,
24 passengers on this now docked cruise ship are tested for the coronavirus. I'm Elise Preston in Bayonne, New Jersey. Coming up, what the World Health Organization is doing to get a handle on this deadly virus.
it's a story that now has ties to the Garden Island. Newly released video could provide clues in the case of 2 missing children from Idaho. These stories and developing details just into our newsroom regarding the Kobe Bryant crash. Coming up on This Is Now. Happy Aloha Friday, everyone. I'm Jonathan, your director producer here at This Is Now, alongside Lacey. You know what? We want to start the news off today with something that's developing on the mainland. There's some severe weather that we're monitoring closely here. Lacey, can you tell us the latest?
Yeah, crazy video. Now, people who live in the Washington, D.C. area were hit with some nasty storms this morning. Authorities are now investigating whether it was one or possibly more tornadoes that touched down. Deborah Alfarone reports from Leesburg, Virginia.
This video is incredible. Take a look.
Powerful winds caused extensive damage to homes and other buildings in Maryland and Virginia. Some appear to have had their roofs entirely blown off.
It sounded like a train, like everybody says when a tornado goes through. And the house shook, and I heard crashing and everything else. So we jumped up and looked out the window and saw this mess.
People in Leesburg, Virginia say the sky suddenly turned black as the storm hit.
It was so dark, and then everything turned white. And when it turned white, then that's when the wind came, that's when the sound came, and then it was quick.
It seems everywhere you look in this Leesburg, Virginia community, trees are down. This one came down, this one sheared off. You can see this totally uprooted, and over there, the siding is off that house. The storms that struck near the nation's capital are part of a larger system that wreaked havoc as it crept across the country. Spartanburg, South Carolina was hit hard.
It was crazy. My phone came across with a message said imminent, and all I heard was all this wind, and I just knew to get in the bathtub. That's all I knew.
The weather has been blamed for at least 5 deaths in the southeast, most in areas struck by heavy rains and flooding.
Wife's still shook up. I'm not, but I mean, it's a terrible thing to happen, but it didn't scare me. It just, I couldn't imagine what was going on.
Further north, heavy snow is in the forecast. More than a foot is expected in upstate New York and New England. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Leesburg, Virginia.
All right, we have some breaking news in this morning regarding the Kobe Bryant crash investigation. Lacey, what's the latest?
Yeah, this just in. Federal investigators say wreckage from the helicopter that crashed last month and killed Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others did not show any evidence of engine failure. That's according to a preliminary report by the National Transportation Safety Board. The January 26th crash killed the former Los Angeles Lakers star, his teenage daughter, and 7 others. The helicopter crashed into a mountain outside of Los Angeles. The NTSB is investigating the accident, including any role that heavy fog may have played, and a final report isn't expected for at least a year.
A lot of new details to get to regarding the coronavirus. I know everyone's talking about it. It's trending on our website. I mean, it's on everyone's mind, so we got to get to that.
Yeah.
What's the latest?
2 more planes carrying Americans evacuated from the Chinese city at the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. They arrived back in the United States today, and there's also growing concern of the virus spreading on cruise ships. Elise Preston reports from New Jersey, where some cruise ship passengers are being tested for the virus.
A plane carrying Americans from Wuhan, China landed at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar in San Diego. It was the second of 2 flights of evacuees to arrive in the U.S. Friday. Passengers will be under a 14-day quarantine to protect against the spread of the coronavirus.
Our top priority is keeping the risk to the American public low, and we're working on all fronts to do that.
Thousands of passengers on board the Diamond Princess cruise ship docked in Japan are also under quarantine. Health officials say they've now removed 61 confirmed cases of coronavirus from the ship, including 9 Americans. Passengers remaining on board want to get off.
I have to tell you now, we're becoming quite afraid. They say that it's very likely that the virus is actually in the air on the ship, being circulated on the ship.
Another cruise ship is under quarantine in Hong Kong, and in Bayonne, New Jersey, more than a dozen Chinese nationals aboard a Royal Caribbean cruise ship were tested for the virus. 4 passengers were taken to the hospital for further testing. Officials say none of the screened passengers on the Anthem of the Seas ship had shown any symptoms. Other passengers were allowed to disembark. There are now more than 31,500 confirmed cases worldwide, and at least 638 patients have died. The World Health Organization says there's a global shortage of protective equipment, including masks and gloves, to fight the outbreak, but it's working on a solution. Elise Preston, CBS News, Bayonne, New Jersey.
All right, guys, we got some pictures into our newsroom we want to show to you. These are from that couple from Eva Beach, the Pagan family. It's a husband and wife. You did a story about this earlier in the week, Lacey. They are on the Diamond Princess, and at least they have a balcony view, so they're actually getting to see what's happening on the outside. They say there's a lot of activity and getting a little fresh air, but they're confined in there. They're quarantined, and that's the cruise ship that we've been monitoring. They keep seeing more and more cases off the shore of Japan there, and we're going to keep in contact with them and keep bringing you update on how they're doing as they wait in this very unsettling wait of what's going to happen next for them. We're going to stay on this story. What's next, Lacey?
Officials in China say there will be an investigation into Dr. Li's death and the issues raised online by the masses. For more info on the final days of Dr. Li, here's CNN's David Culver.
In a matter of days, Dr. Li Wenliang went from treating patients to becoming one. The 34-year-old ophthalmologist diagnosed Saturday with the Wuhan coronavirus, dying less than a week later in the same hospital in which he worked. But if action had been taken when he and others started sounding alarms, the severity of the outbreak might have been understood sooner. Struggling to communicate, Li spoke with CNN briefly by phone on January 31st. You could hear the hospital machines pulsing in the background. It was back in late December when Li first warned friends on WeChat about a SARS-like disease going around. Li sent a group message saying that a test result from a patient quarantined at the hospital where he worked showed a patient had a coronavirus. But hours after hitting send, Wuhan city health officials tracked Li down, questioning where he got the information. Within days, they closed the suspected source of the virus, this seafood market, and they announced the outbreak. But instead of being praised, Li got a call from Wuhan City Police. With Li coughing too much and breathing too poorly to speak by phone, we asked Li by text, "How did you feel when this happened?" "I felt a little afraid I would be detained, afraid my family would worry," Li responded. He agreed to sign this document, admitting to spreading rumors online and severely disrupting social order. It reads, "We want you to cooperate with the police and listen to our reminder and stop the illegal act. Can you do that?" Li answered, "Yes, I can."
In the weeks that followed, the Wuhan Municipal Health Commission maintained that there was no obvious evidence for human-to-human transmission, no infection of healthcare workers, and that the outbreak was, in their words, preventable and controllable. And with that, the people of Wuhan continued about their normal lives.
Then came a sudden jump in infections. China's central government took over, scrambling to contain a spreading virus with a rising death toll. Chinese state media first reported that Li was one of several whistleblowers silenced by police. Calls for Li and the others to be vindicated grew online. China's Supreme Court even weighed in, adding, quote, "It might have been a fortunate thing if the public had listened to this rumor at the time." But for many, including Li and his parents, it was too late. They all contracted the coronavirus. Li's condition declined rapidly. But before his death Friday, he witnessed the support of thousands online who considered him a hero. Late Thursday night, Chinese state media first reported Li's death.
The responses online reflected a profound grief and a deep anger. The two topics trending on Chinese social media were Wuhan government owes Dr. Li Wenliang an apology and "We want freedom of speech." Both had tens of thousands of views before being censored. soon after state media changed its reporting, citing Wuhan Central Hospital, which reported Li was still alive but in critical condition. And a few hours later, in the middle of the night, hospital authorities officially announced Li's death. He was 34. David Culver, CNN, Beijing.
As the coronavirus continues to spread, we're working to clear up some confusion about quarantine sites in Hawaii. Earlier this week, the state sent us images of the secure location at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. But the Department of Defense says that's actually the third quarantine option for people that might have the virus. Military officials tell us that the Department of Health and Human Services, which is a federal agency leading the response to coronavirus, has a primary and a secondary location already picked out. We're trying to determine where those locations are. However, we do know that the Daniel K. Inouye Airport has been selected as one of 11 so-called gateway airports in the nation because it has a Centers for Disease Control and Prevention quarantine station. Now, another option could be the Federal Detention Center, which is where 2 Chinese nationals are being held as they seek asylum. The military says Pearl Harbor Hickam would only be used if the first 2 options run out of space, and say DoD personnel would not be in contact with anyone who is quarantined.
And as soon as we get that clarification, we're going to pass it along to you on our HNN digital platforms and again on our evening newscast tonight on HNN. Moving on to other news from here at home. After a string of recent violent crimes, most notably against the elderly, HPD says they're going to change things up. Let's hand it over to Ben Gutierrez, who filed this report of what the police chief is talking about.
HPD says there are some disturbing trends developing in the last few months, including a big jump in purse snatchings and an increase in the use of guns. The purse snatchings have been getting a lot of attention in recent months, including one that resulted in the death of a Kalihi Valley woman.
Unfortunately, in 2020, just in January, it's only been 1 month, we saw a rise in the purse snatching.
Police Chief Susan Ballard offered plans and ideas to the City Council's Public Safety Committee, including taking away a mode of transportation used by many purse snatchers.
A lot of the modes of transportation now is bicycles, because easy to get around, easy to go through tight places. So we're going to start doing stepped up enforcement, for bicycles.
Other agencies say it's not just an HPD problem, that violent crime is affecting first responders, including city paramedics.
Just in the last 2 weeks, we've had 4 of our paramedics attacked. The impact of that is when they're attacked, those ambulances go out of service.
Ballard says there was also a spike in the use of weapons, with many of those weapons stolen, unregistered, or even fake.
What's a bit concerning is that from 2018 to 2019, there was a 45% increase in the use of guns in robberies.
While there are a lot of statistics, Ballard says right now the department doesn't have the resources to analyze them all.
One of the things that I really want to see is I want a crime analyst, a real crime analyst, not just someone who's just looking at the numbers, but someone who can see the numbers, put them together, and come up with trends and patterns.
Ballard also told the committee there are more qualified recruits joining the police force, which could help close the 15% gap in their patrol officer staff. Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
In the wake of the Diamond Head tragedy, some lawmakers want to create a new crisis center and a new kind of first responder that's trained in mental health issues. Now, instead of sending the mentally ill to jail for petty crimes, officers could take them to this crisis clinic to have them checked out by a physician instead. The bill is nicknamed Tiffany and Kaulike's Law in memory of the officers who were killed by a troubled resident on Hibiscus Drive. Today, the bill passed its second reading in the Human Services and Homeless Committee.
And that was actually passed yesterday, and I believe that was also posted on our HNN digital platforms, so you can read up on that new bill. That was something the police chief was also pushing for. Let's not move on to another case, another crime case that we've been following closely here at This Is Now. Newly released video could provide clues in a case of 2 missing children from Idaho. This case now has ties to the Aloha State. The video shows what is believed to be the children's mother putting their belongings into a storage unit. Sounds very mysterious. Jonathan Vigilotti from CBS News is going to fill us in on the new questions that are also involving a $1 million life insurance policy. Let's check that out.
Why don't you give us answers? Lori Vallow and her new husband, Chad Daybell, are hiding in plain sight in Hawaii. Her children, 7-year-old JJ and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan, are nowhere to be found. Newly released surveillance video reveals a woman believed to be Vallow, along with an unidentified man, making trips to this Idaho storage unit just weeks after her kids went missing. Inside, children's clothes, bikes, photos, and a backpack, all reportedly belonging to JJ and Tylee. At one point, the man is seen leaving with a heavy tote bag. Rich Robertson is a private investigator working with JJ's grandparents.
If they had expected the kids to be coming home soon, why would that stuff be in the storage? On the other hand, if they didn't think the kids were ever coming back, why keep it?
Another piece of the puzzle, the $1 million life insurance policy on Vallow's ex-husband, Charles. Police say he was killed by Lori Vallow's brother, who then died under suspicious circumstances. Also under investigation, the recent death of Daybell's ex-wife. The couple denies any wrongdoing. Investigators, including the FBI, have not made any arrests.
Well, you can't bring people to justice if all you have are suspicious coincidences. You have to have evidence.
And it's unclear if any DNA evidence was recovered from this site. Police tell me they're now looking into the family's travel records. So far, it's been nearly 5 months with no clear sign of life or death. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Rexburg, Idaho.
All right, we got a picture into our newsroom there from Gerald. He sent this in.
Beautiful.
That's Mauna Kea. Yeah, snow-covered hills right there. That's because there's a winter storm weather advisory that's an alert for the Big Island and Valley Isle. You know, there is that cold front that's moving in and brought us rain earlier.
It's been chilly.
I know, it really has been. But I'm looking at the 7-day forecast in the notes that I was left here from Guy, and it looks like tomorrow is actually going to be pretty nice. A few showers, but the temperature is going to be around 78 degrees.
Nice.
Not too bad. A low of 66. Let's take you outside right now to see your current conditions. They're looking at Diamond
A little more
Head.
sunshine than
Yeah,
yesterday.
yesterday looks way nicer out there. Definitely. Again, I don't see another chance for rain. There looks like a little chance tomorrow. And then Sunday, it looks like it's clearing up. Scattered showers return on Monday. But we'll keep following for it. That's always a good idea to sign up for our H&N weather app.
Yes.
Because you can get all the alerts. Look at the 7-day. Look at the radar anytime you want. You know what? Let's move on. Let's get some news from the entertainment world, Lacey.
Some exciting news.
Yeah, anytime
NBC.
we can show this guy.
Exactly. NBC is seeking Hawaii actors who are either Polynesian or also mixed with African American. Now, that description has many speculating this is for Dwayne Johnson's upcoming sitcom Young Rock. He announced last month he's planning to film 11 episodes with possible locations set in Hawaii.
Yes.
NBC and the casting organizations will not confirm if the auditions are for The Rock's latest endeavor. For information on how you can try out, head to our website.
Yeah, we posted that story and it's getting huge traction online, so check it out if you're interested in any way. All the information's there right for you on our H&N digital platforms. That's our HNN.com, our H&N app, and I think the link is also posted on this Facebook feed if you're watching on Facebook Live. Just scroll down a little bit, you'll see the link there.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be for that.
Yeah, it definitely.
Yeah.
It got shared a lot yesterday for sure. All right, let's move on to another local boy.
Bruno Mars and Disney are collaborating on a new music film. Now, according to a statement, the singer will co-produce and star in a music-themed theatrical narrative feature. This will be Mars's first major film role. There's no name or details on the project yet, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. But Mars posted a video to social media on Thursday showing him playing the piano.
I saw that.
He plays the Disney classic When You Wish Upon a Star and writes, "If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme when you wish upon a star." He also captioned it with the hashtag Mars meets the mouse and I'm going to Disneyland. Mars previously voiced a character in the animated Rio 2 from 2014, and he also portrayed an Elvis impersonator in 1992's Honeymoon in Vegas. He's really good at that.
Yeah, you're a Bruno fan. So
I'm a
how many
big
times did
Bruno
you go to
fan.
the concert?
You know, I only went once. A couple of my friends went twice, but they said it was still good. The first night, the second time they went, it was over the top.
It was such a success. You got to wonder when's he going to come back.
Yeah.
When will be the next
Come back!
Please, Bruno, come back. All right, you know what this weekend is? Oscar weekend.
Exciting.
On another network. We don't need to talk about that, but it is Oscar weekend.
It is.
And let's talk about it a little. Let's play a game. Let's see how many of these movies you've
Okay.
seen. All right, Joker leads the way with 11 nominations,
I haven't
including
seen
Best
this
Picture.
one.
You haven't seen Joker?
No, I need to.
So here are the other films. Okay, let's get. So this is Ford vs. Ferrari.
Okay.
The Irishman, I saw that one. Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I did see. All right, the Joker's, he's nominated for Best Actor as well, along with Antonio Banderas, DiCaprio, Adam Driver, Joaquin Phoenix, and Jonathan Pryce. I saw the Pope movie, pretty good. Scarlett Johansson, also nominated for 2 Oscars, including Best Actress.
She's
Now,
awesome.
these next names are a little difficult, so I haven't seen all these movies, so let's see if I can get them all right for the nominees. And please don't judge me. Cynthia Erivo for Harriet, probably messed it up. Scarlett Johansson. Saoirse, I just had to look that up because she was on Ellen and they gave a tutorial of exactly how you can say her name. Charlize Theron and Renee Zellweger.
Those aren't easy names, but
I
great
know.
job.
Woo.
And big
Oh my
names
goodness,
to add to that. I mean...
So what movies did you see?
I didn't see any of them.
Any
I know.
of them?
Okay, with the sunrise schedule, I
Any
normally
of them?
just asleep. I know. I need to catch up on it. But a lot of my friends have seen those movies, especially the Joker movie, and they all loved it.
Wow. Well, I saw the Joker and I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood this weekend on the plane. I had a long plane ride coming back from St. Louis, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't your typical overly violent Quentin Tarantino movie. There was some violence there at the end, but I really liked it. I don't know. I'm hearing 1917 is amazing.
I heard Little Women is also really good, too. A couple of my friends saw that.
So let's get together and have a
I
movie
think we
watching
need to have
night.
a movie marathon this weekend.
Please. All right, there's something big coming to the Blue Note, right? So that's coming up. That's Sergio Mendes, and it's coming up, I think, really, really soon here.
Yeah.
Let's see the exact date. I have it written down.
Over at Blue Note, Hawaii.
Yeah, it's coming tonight at 6:30. How did I miss it? I got to get my tickets. I think there's still time to get them. But he gave us a preview this morning on Sunrise. We want to leave you today with that music, and enjoy your Aloha Friday, folks. And thanks for watching This Is Now. We'll be back on Monday, so we'll see you then.
Hold my hand for my love's always on the dance floor. If you can't dance, baby, let me show you. Now grab your hands, and let your music take you. Then put your foots in, and let the Lord take you. Then move your hand, and then put your hands up, and shake your waist, and you can tear it up. Then move your hand, and then move your waist, you looking in my eyes and in my face, and then I feel you, I can keep pace, and then we dance and we let the music happen, then we fall in love all over again and again. Come on.